.mkv. We might not be recording correctly. Settings. Output. Um, 10:1. That would have been yesterday. And what is this?
While playing guys that are way better than I was playing last season.
What?
I feel like the competition this season has been so much harder because of the ladder reset.
This is Ozzy
I'm getting
Dahaki.
A rank.
This was a while
Technically, I'm
ago.
not A rank because I just had a lever. But if I win like a couple more and I'm like actually getting to A rank, it feels so good right now because I feel like I've mentioned it before. I'll talk times.
I don't think I meant to record
Learn
this.
to play Ruigs.
Alright, I don't know what this is from. Ozzy Dahaki Overfod gameplay. Oops, I didn't mean to put it there. Okay. I think we're ready for the real episode 13. Hello and welcome to the 113th episode of the Henry George Daily Devotional. This is actually the 114th episode. I'm not going to continue caveating every episode from here on out, although there won't probably be, well, there might be many more. There won't be many more for Progress and Poverty, though. The reason is because it's been a month since I recorded an episode. And then yesterday, when I recorded, I ended up rereading passages that had already been read in the Henry George Daily Devotional. I have not been neglecting my Georgist duties, though I have been neglecting the daily devotional. I have coordinated the Henry George first annual George Jam starting on September 2nd, lasting a week. I made a game for it. I have gone to a local city council meeting and spoken in favor of some housing. I have gone to LA City Hall and connected with housing and YIMBY groups to try to share the LVT with them, and I've made some good contacts there. I have joined the Sortition Advocacy nonprofit in LA, Public Democracy Los Angeles, been to a few of their meetings. It was actually with them that I went to City Hall. I have done some Strong Towns activism, gone to a few of their meetings online and in person. And I have, of course, continued to blog here and there. And of course, been active in the Georgism Discord server. So that is my penance. I hope you can forgive me for not reading Progress and Poverty to you for some time. But now I'm back, and George is waiting. He writes here in chapter 10, The Law of Human Progress, maybe. Yes, that was book 10, chapter Quattro, How Modern Civilization May Decline. I did not watch any of the presidential or vice presidential debates. I leave it to the viewer to decide the applicability of George's words to our civilization, whether We are in decline, have but just begun to decline, or we have been declining for quite some time. Whether or not we can recover from such a decline, and whether George's remedy will help. He writes, this tendency, whatever that tendency is, and the general law shown by the fact just as the tendency has asserted itself. Association inequality, that's his rule for progress. So I think we're speaking about, yes. So maybe there is some tendency. The general tendency of modern development since the time when we can first discern the gleams of civilization in the darkness which followed the fall of the Western Empire has been toward political and legal equality. That's the tendency. This tendency has reached its full expression in the American Republic, where this is a new thing I've been harping about. When did in American history did it become the thing to do to describe America as a democracy first and foremost? I'm curious about that, the historicity of that. I think it's important to understand that we are primarily an electoral republic, as my own terminology. I know people call us a democratic republic, and I think there are serious flaws with an electoral system. This is why I'm interested in sortition and forming civic assemblies by selecting random citizens. So, if this is the full expression of the American Republic, where political and legal rights are absolutely equal, and owing to the system of rotation in office, even the growth of a bureaucracy is prevented. As a kid, learning about American early government, it was almost as though it was prized that we were creating a system that would be stuck in gridlock and unable to do things because the founding fathers were so afraid of the coagulation of power, and so we had this balance of powers. And I don't fully discard all of that, but it is funny that, and somewhat odd when I think on that our highest hope for government was that it would be like ineffective. It sure seems like there ought to be a way of coordinating humans where the leadership has a clear role and can be effective in doing so. If they cannot be effective, then what is the point of having them? Why aren't we all just, anarchists? Which I'm told there is more to anarchism than meets the eye. So George writes, even the growth of a bureaucracy is prevented where every religious belief or non-belief stands on the same footing, where every boy may hope to be president, and every man has an equal voice in public affairs, and every official is mediately or immediately dependent for the short lease of his place upon a popular vote. Yes, this is why I think sortition helps, because this ability to rein in and evaluate bad leaders through voting, I don't think has worked out. This tendency has yet some triumphs to win in England in extending the suffrage and sweeping away the vestiges of monarchy, aristocracy, and prelacy. Oh, I don't remember what prelacy means. Church government administered by prelates. A prelate is a high-ranking member of the Christian clergy. While in such countries as Germany and Russia, where divine right is yet a good deal more than a legal fiction, it has a considerable distance to go. But it is the prevailing tendency, and how soon Europe will be completely republican is only a matter of time, or rather of accident. The United States are therefore, in this respect, the most advanced of all the great nations, in a direction in which all are advancing, and in the United States we see just how much this tendency to personal and political freedom can of itself accomplish. I always have to remind myself he's writing in 1879. This is well before either of the world wars, and America is not really the top dog. Now, the first effect of the tendency to political equality was to the more equal distribution of wealth and power. For while population is comparatively sparse, inequality in the distribution of wealth is principally due to the inequality of personal rights. And it is only as material progress goes on that on that and it is only as material progress goes on that the tendency to inequality involved in the reduction of land to private ownership strongly appears. Let's go through that sentence again. Population is sparse. Inequality in the distribution of wealth is due to the inequality of personal rights. And it is only as material progress goes on that the tendency to inequality involved in the reduction of land to private ownership strongly appears. Okay. So as we have progress, then we will, material progress, then land monopoly will rear its ugly head and cause more inequality. But it is now manifest that absolute political equality does not in itself prevent the tendency to inequality involved in the private ownership of land. Yes, this is probably exactly what stirred the heart of Lizzie McGee. She was the abolitionist who then designed Monopoly, and abolitionists, they won. We freed the slaves. And we got women the vote, and there was a new level of personal or political equality, and yet the inequality due to land monopoly still persisted. And it is further evident that political equality coexisting with an increasing tendency to the unequal distribution of wealth must ultimately beget either the despotism of organized tyranny or the worse despotism of anarchy. To turn a republican government into a despotism, the basest and most brutal, it is not necessary formally to change its constitution or abandon popular elections. Yeah, George called this, and I definitely don't think we went into anarchy. We have gone into despotism of organized tyranny. It was centuries after Caesar, before the absolute master of the Roman world pretended to rule other than by authority of a senate that trembled before him. But forms are nothing when substance is gone, and the forms of popular government are those from which the substance of freedom most easily go. Extremes meet, and a government of universal suffrage and theoretical equality may, under conditions which impel the change, most readily become a despotism. Yeah, I think we do not have a perfect union, right? And we do not have perfectly, we still have lots of social unhappiness. There's whatever your view of systemic racism is, we definitely don't have zero racism. And yet I think that racism is not the biggest problem in America. And probably not the biggest problem in the world. And focusing on that distracts, like seeking this theoretical perfect equality, which won't really even achieve the equal land access issue, is a distraction, and we can still live under a land tyranny, organized tyranny, even if we achieve 100% perfect race relations. George continues. For their despotism advances in the name and with the might of the people. The single source of power once secured, everything is secured. There is no unfranchised class to whom appeal may be made, no privileged orders who in defending their own rights may defend those of all. No bulwark remains to stay the flood, no eminence to rise above it. They were belted barons, led by a mitred archbishop who curbed the Plantagenet with Magna Carta. I'm not sure what mitred means. Liturgical headdress and part of the insignia of a Christian bishop. A thong for binding the hair, the ceremonial headdress. That's, yeah. Preachers with nice hats. And they curbed the Plantagenet. I know that was just aristocratic or a royal family. I think. Let's just be sure. House Plantagenet. They are French. And then Lancaster and York were the Plantagenets. That's War of the Roses. It was the middle class who broke the pride of the Stuarts, but a mere aristocracy of wealth will never struggle while it can hope to bribe a tyrant. And when the disparity of condition increases, so does universal suffrage make it easy to seize the source of power, for the greater is the proportion of power in the hands of those who feel no direct interest in the conduct of government, who, tortured by want and embruted by poverty, that's a term, I assume this means being made a brute, to brutify, imbrute, to make like a brute, to make senseless, stupid, or yes. This is something I was talking about with some buddies the other day. It is most, I don't know if I should say most, many poor people are not people I want to be around. And I don't think we should hide from this. This is a big reason why NIMBYs, they're right. Like, crime follows poverty. Not every, like, I think some of the noblest people I've known were poor, are poor. I think it requires double the personal virtue to be a good person when you are poor. I think this is why in the church you see that huge emotional struggle. Like, it's hard to express it, I guess. I do think poverty, I think George is right. People are rooted by poverty. And they are ready to sell their votes to the highest bidder or follow the lead of the most blatant demagogue, or who, made bitter by hardships, may even look upon profligate and tyrannous government with the satisfaction we may imagine the proletarians and slaves of Rome to have felt, as they saw a Caligula or Nero raging among the rich patricians. I guess the Caligula and Nero, like, did they have a fall? And then the patrician class, they were the aristocracy. I don't know. Given a community with republican institutions, in which one class is too rich to be shorn of its luxuries, no matter how public affairs are administered, and another so poor that a few dollars on election day will seem more than any abstract consideration, in which the few roll in wealth and the many seethe with discontent at a condition of things they know not how to remedy, and power must pass into the hands of jobbers who will buy and sell it as the Praetorians sold the Roman purple, or into the hands of demagogues who will seize and wield it for a time, only to be displaced by worse demagogues. All right. Thus concludes episode 113 of the Henry George Daily Devotional. Like, subscribe, tell your friends and family, comment, write a book, make a documentary, go give a speech, run for office, change the world. All right. How do we sum this up? Personal, or what do we call that? Political equality does not ensure land slash wealth equality. USA has had more association inequality than ever, yet elections and increased suffrage do not guarantee continued equality. As progress continues, land monopoly will dominate, as it has in other as it has in Rome, Britain, and other civilizations. That is my description. New episode. HGDD 113. Book 10, Chapter 4. I don't know what part this is. Alright, part 2 seems right. Oh, hey man. Just finished reading Some Progress in Poverty. How are you doing? I will, not this blog post, this blog post. Recent town hall meeting I went to. Now, well, I always hesitate over the explicit content question. It's the most explicit content I can imagine. Published. We have some, I already saw this, yes. What? How did I get? Alright. Oh, I didn't add the link here. Recent blog post about speaking at my city town hall meeting. I already closed the tab because I didn't want to hear myself speaking. I'm both proud and I feel a little embarrassed, I guess, shy about seeing myself on video. I don't know. Thank you. We're all doing what we can. I'm not very popular on YouTube, but it was what's the word? I don't know, validating, I guess, to see how many likes I got on support I got on Reddit when I shared the town hall video. And then it was funny, I shared it on Twitter and got very little response. But then a few days later, I think some other Georges started um, resharing it public. Whoops. And then that was also rewarding, I suppose. Um, Comments. Can I share this comment? No. I can like it and I can love it. I guess you can't share a comment directly. Anyway, I was going to I have resumed the Henry George Daily Devotionals. Of course, you have all been messaging me nonstop about their sudden cessation. Of course, you know that I've been working on my George Jam game, going to City Hall meetings, coordinating with Strong or being active in Strong Towns, Public Democracy LA, and organizing a local meetup at a brewery in Long at Ambitious Ales on October 19th. And been active on the Georgism Discord server as always. Oh, I need to make a post about Shen. Go devote yourself to George, John. Link. This is not my new video. Your video. A local meetup at Ambitious Ales on October 19th. Link. Do I want to do the event or the blog post? How come this event doesn't like have a description? Did it? Eventbrite has really been frustrating me with its user interface. I cannot express that. There's the description. I don't get it. This is the event. And I don't even think I wrote. This is like some AI bullshit generated description. It's not terrible, but I never write Night of Brews. Like I think this is trying, yeah, like this little. So now there is an about here. I could have. We were just looking at this page and there was no about this event. It's the same bookmark URL. Software. And this little summary, I don't recall writing, and I don't know how I could edit it. It's not horrible. It's super similar to what I wrote here. But it's not at night. And it's, I don't know, it's fine, I guess. Edit event. And it's really annoying how Eventbrite now, as soon as you create an event, it just like auto fills it all in with. Nope. Yeah, and that's another thing. This, clicking here, I get that it takes you out of it, but I don't know. It's messed me up. I do this, that's the problem. Highlighting and releasing outside of the box. You guys see that? You can't tell. I'm clicking down, I'm holding it, and I release, and it closes it. All of you UI designers, take note. Um, uh, so we already have the event title. This is almost redundant with it. The land value tax was Henry George's solution to living on a monopoly board. Come, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it and drink some of my friends' tasty beers in tasty beers. And then we click here to save, which is like way far away. Okay, alright, why was I doing this? I know. I know why. URL, done. Yours truly, Max. Devoted. Never, my devotion never ceased, but now my devotionals have returned. Do we need a picture here? Why not? We'll just do the one I always do. Edit caption. Published in 1879. Sold millions of copies. Sold. maddeningly ignored by late 20th century economists. Fine. I don't love the formatting, but maybe it's kind of fun. Good enough for government work. Everyone. California, not really. Economics. Land value tax. Georgism. Housing. Justice. Equality. Wealth inequality, sure. Add subscribe buttons. I like that, just one. Sudden absence. Absence. Of course, you know that I'm working, that I... People are beginning to ask questions. Cool. Uh, let's share it some more places. Content. Hello and welcome to the 113th episode of the Henry George. The cult one. Lots of chatter. I'm not getting involved. Yes, it will. Sure. So I'm simply reading the publicly available one online. I have, yeah, well, this is the one I'm reading. 1912. It definitely, this has several, it has a lot of like digital transcription errors, which is a little annoying. But it has like some of those key, well, I've only read versions of Progress and Poverty that had the, what do you call them? Footnote, I guess, that specifies that he is now against patents, which is significant to me. Back to reading Progress and Poverty. Discord. We go to George. Oh, we got a message. No, online. Discord, YouTube. Oh yeah, it automatically posts now. Was coming here to share that I had recorded a episode. Go. Labor saving device. What about in GeoPraxis? Recorded a new episode of the HG Daily Devo. I'm always a little bit, do I share the YouTube video or do I share a link to some other social media site and ask people to thumbs up and like it? The Henry George Daily Devotionals are back. OMG, OM George. OM George. Like, subscribe, follow. Run for office. That was how we should conclude it. Follow. Share. Memorize. Donate. Run for office. Run for I don't know. Run for president. Live share, follow, share, memorize. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Tell your, I don't know. OM George is pretty good though. I'll stay with that. Mark did it. Oh, you like the... Okay. Discord. I mean, I guess we could also start posting on Instagram. I don't know if I want to super flood my personal Instagram. I think these are all my friends, and it would be better to occasionally and poignantly post rather than, oh, look at those tangerines and birthday presents. All right. You know what we failed to do? Where did we leave off reading? That's where we started. What? Bribe a tyrant, worst demagogues. Is that as far as we got? Because I don't remember. We didn't read about Samson and the pillars of national life. We did not get far or go fast. All right. I think this concludes today's programming content, programmed content. Today's programming. I don't know. All right. See you later, Taxer Memes.